All right, Chelsea fans, it is New Year's Day, and what better way to kick off 2025 than with our New Year's wish list? Let's jump in. All right, well, here's the deal. It's 2025. This is where Chelsea stand in the table. I think most fans are feeling good based on how last season went, the season before that. But as it stands right now, Chelsea firmly not in a title race, but top four, feeling good. Although I think a lot of us want to see how we get to March. But as we should dive in here and see what in the world do we as Chelsea fans want in 2025. If you know me, which you probably do by now, I hate calendar records. I hate calendar stats. And so I'm just going to do 2025 from here to the end of the season because that is all that matters. If we look at some of the things that are going on within this team right now, ESPN FC back in October called Chelsea hot and cold. I get it, right? Is a top four finish realistic this season? I think we've answered that. And so definitely 2025 top four finish has to be there. The BBC more recently in the middle of November is talking about the injury issues that Chelsea are having in key positions, including midfield, defense. How is that going to shape the January transfer window? Are the owners feeling excited to maybe spend more money? How are the FFP and the different domestic regulations going to affect that? We'll have to wait and see, but you would imagine they're going to want to bolster an already performing squad. So anyways, we've got a lot to look at. Let's dive into the top three wishes of Chelsea fans for 2025. All right, number one, a consistent goal scoring threat. You can copy paste this, I think, any year. What team doesn't want a consistent goal scoring threat? The good news is the team is doing well. Cole Palmer on fire, Nico Jackson showing bright spots, and other players chipping in with goals around him as well, which is nice. A little bit interesting, it seems like the Nkunku project is not really going the way we want it to. And so what might happen with him in his future? Is he happy at Chelsea coming off the bench? Is the manager happy with the output that we're getting for? Remember, this is the Bundesliga Golden Boot winner just a couple seasons ago at RB Leipzig. What should we be expecting? So as we craft out the attack, there's two options, right? You need a proven goal scorer or you stick with the young attack that we have. I'm trying to figure out which side of the fence I'm on. You let me know in the comments which side of the fence you are. We talked about Victor Osimhen being kind of the top established striker. He's in Turkey on loan from Napoli. Definitely probably interested in going somewhere. Does it make sense for him to move in the middle of the season or do a full season in preseason and everything like that? If you stick with the young players, right? Jackson has shown that he can score in spurts. Noni Madueke's chipped in with some goals. Jadon Sancho scored. And then there's obviously Cole Palmer. I think the biggest thing you want to do right now is just unlock Cole, right? Just scored the lone goal, or scored a goal, I guess I should say, in almost most of his matches. I think it was one of like the third or fourth youngest players to get to 50 goals in the Premier League goal contribution. So it's going well for him. I think most of us are going to say just build the attack around Cole. He's delivering for his second season. Young, kind of scores from a lot of different ways. We know that he set the record for most consecutive penalties in the Premier League. Where do you need to change from there? But again, do we have the reliability in attack? Again, if Nico Jackson goes 2, 3, 4 matches without anything, is he still, you think back to Olivier Giroud and Eden Hazard playing, can Jackson still set up the people around him, whether it's runs to create space or those 1-2 combos that we saw Giroud and Eden Hazard do? That's what we're looking out of from the striker. So again, I think that you have to kind of choose and see, do you go with the proven superstar or are you going to wait and let the young team develop? Let me know. All right. The second wish that we have as Chelsea fans is definitely going to be solid defensive reinforcements. The injuries are a huge issue in the back line. Think of all the changes that we've had, whether it's two left-footed center backs in Levi Cole and Benoit Badiashile, whether it's Malo Gusto playing left back, even though he's a right-footed player. How many times have we seen Disasi or someone else get pushed out to right back because Malo Gusto and Reece James are injured, right? It's just now Cucurella got suspended recently, and again, that's where you have to do the makeshift backline. Who are our best two starters? Wes is out again. It was him and Levi. I think that feels good going forward, but the defensive issues are all caused by injuries. Tosin's played, Benoit's played, Disasi's played. Like, it's not even consistent who the number two, or I'm sorry, I should say the third center back is, right? Behind, if Wes Fofana and Levi Cole are largely considered number 1 and 2, no one's really gone after the number 3 spot consistently. And so I think that's where we at least need to understand the priorities there. Right back is obviously an issue with Malo Gusto and Reece James proving that neither one can stay fit for an entire season. So do you go after right back even though you have two players you like? Like, how do we manage that? I don't know the best way to do it. Maybe you keep pushing a center back over. We'll have to wait and see and how that shakes out. But also, is that an opportunity where you can sell one of the depth center backs, free up some cash to go reinvest in this window? The aggressive one would be selling 2 of the 3 center backs, which you'd assume to be Benoit and Disasi since Tosin just got here, and going and trying to buy someone to replace Levi or Wes Fofana and trying to come in over the top. I don't see that either. So again, proven center back, there's a couple out of, the Portuguese league, or do you again just sit and let this team develop? I think what's interesting as we go back and forth between, do you go by the proven or do you let the team develop, is that for the most part, they're getting it done. It's not pretty, it's not elite, but we're getting results, which last season we know we didn't. If we conceded last season, it was game over. At least we're finding ways to get through these matches and get points and wins on the board. So I'm leaning towards on the defensive side. While I would love a new center back, at the same time, I still have the patience for at least the rest of this season to get there. But I know a ton of fans want a defensive reinforcement. And I'm mainly talking about the center backs when I say that. On the right side, you got to figure it out. But here's the problem. You don't want to get in that situation where we had too many left backs, right? You had Marcus Alonso, you had Ben Chilwell, you had Ian Matson, you had all of these left-footed players, Emerson at one point, right? Zappacosta. You just had 3-4 left backs, left wing back players and not enough minutes. So if you go get another right back in January, you're probably not going to get a starter because it's Reece James, the club captain, if he's healthy. Malo Gusto has proven to be very, very good deputy. What top player is going to want to come in and fight for those minutes with 2 first-team right backs in front of them? Now, I think this is where you got to look to the academy to provide that depth and provide that opportunity. But so far, it's not something that Enzo Maresca has wanted it to do. So, again, in the comments, I need to know, are you buying a center back? Are you buying a right back? Or are we waiting it out? What is the solution, especially at right back? That has to be top of the list for these co-sporting directors as we head into the January transfer window. All right, lastly, I'm going to say make sure the midfield is taken care of. Now, earlier in the season, the midfield was lacking. Much more recently, as we get into the later part of fall, the midfield has looked much better, and there's one clear answer why. Enzo Fernandez is fit. For the first time in a Chelsea shirt in his career, he is actually fit. And is he contributing in such a bigger way? I think we were having 50 to 60% of the player in the last season plus until right now. I was starting to wonder if he was even going to last through 3 seasons at Chelsea. Now it's hard to imagine the team without him right now. And so the fitness, the surgery that he underwent at the end of last season when he sat out the last few weeks, it clearly has unlocked a new player in Enzo, and that is phenomenal. Caicedo continues to play at such a high level that everyone was talking to him about being N'Golo Kante comparisons, right? With these two, we are good. Lavia, again, with the injury issues. Dewsbury Hall, right? I mean, that was mainly a squad signing for Maresca. Whether it's Vega coming in, Cassidy, like you need that next player in the midfield. So to me, getting that strong rotational depth that's reliable in midfield is where you want to go. I think everybody knows where I stand. Andre Santos is him. So this is definitely a patch just for a few months. So maybe it's a loan, right? Maybe you go pick up another Premier League player just on loan in the back half of the season who hasn't played much, just to give you that cover. But I definitely wouldn't buy anybody. But it does still feel like we're one injury or red card away from being in trouble in the midfield. So again, you let me know what you're thinking. I think you have to be careful to not block the way for Andre Santos, because again, what he's doing with Strasbourg this season is so impressive. And again, he's a young player. So pave the way, let the South American dominance over the next 3 seasons happen. Santos in first. All right. And then I think a bonus one here, that if we had to kind of choose what we wanted in terms of like the fans really getting their way, what I would say is you really want that old school Chelsea grit. And I think we're getting some glimpses of this, right? You think back to like John Terry's tackles, Frank Lampard box to box, even Didier Drogba bossing center backs without any issues. Diego Costa as well, right? We want to see some of that old school grit. I think we've seen some flashes, but that mentality that Chelsea have had over the years is really what won us titles. With such a young team, I don't really know the best way to instill that mentality and grit without these experienced veteran players to show them the way. Obviously, you got Betts on the bench. Chilwell's nowhere near the squad other than being friends at the training ground. Where are you getting that veteran leadership? Thiago Silva has obviously departed the club and gone back to Brazil to finish out his career. What can we do to bring in that old school grit? You know, I would say, again, Reece James has it, but that's because he came up in the academy watching these players, but he's not fit. So how can we get him to impart that on into the team and the rest of the group? And I think that's what I'm really interested in seeing. So look, that's what I've got for my 2025 New Year's resolutions, right? Consistent goals, defensive reinforcements, midfield reinforcements, and my bonus one, that old school Chelsea grit mentality. A 1-goal lead, lock that down. No problem at all. Bring on John Obi Mikel, the closer, and you get it done. So here's the deal. We're now flipping the calendars to 2025. You got an FA Cup run, right? We got Conference League that we should win. Sure, we can have fun with the bands, right? The only team in Europe to win them all. You got the Premier League. It's got to be top 4. You got to get in the Champions League with the squad next season. And then you look ahead to the Club World Cup in the summer. But 2025, from now until the Club World Cup, so much potential to do. And I think we're really going to find out if Maresca is going to earn himself another season with Chelsea. So let me know in the comments, where are you at with all this? What did I miss? What's on your Chelsea wish list? Hopefully you got the kit you wanted for Christmas. If not, well, maybe next time. But until next time, Chelsea fans, you know what to do. Keep the blue flag flying high.